Hey guys, it's Alex with Forever Flawless Lips. I wanted to jump on and talk to you today about why some direct sales businesses don't work, how to prevent yours from failing, and how if it fails, it could be your fault. So let's just jump right into this. Let's talk about just entrepreneurs in general. About 80% of entrepreneurs fail at their business within the first 18 months. That's why banks don't usually give out loans to anyone who is self-employed or an entrepreneur within their first 2 years. Because if you make it past 2 years, that's a great sign. And banks take that as a great sign as well. So how can you make it past that 2 years point? Well, let's set some realistic expectations. Let's talk about what business you're getting involved with. So number one, are you getting involved with a business where you have to spend a ton of money? Because a lot of people quit direct sales or their self-employment because they're not making money, they're just losing money. And we've all heard this saying, it takes money to make money, which is not necessarily true. So let's look at LuLaRoe, for example. Amazing clothing. I'm wearing LuLaRoe right now. I like their clothing. But for distributors, you have to spend about $5,000 to $10,000 up front and hold a ton of inventory in order to be a distributor and to sell. Now, if you have $5,000 to $10,000 to lose, if you could lose that money and you'd be totally fine, go ahead, take the risk. For me, it did not sound like smart business decisions, not something I want to get involved with. Not my cup of tea, right? Some ladies it is. So if that is your cup of tea, then great, do that. But no, if something happens, you have all that stock, all that inventory, all that money invested, and that's your product and you're responsible to sell it. So some businesses start like that, tons of money up front. Some businesses are pyramid schemes. So if you're looking to get in direct sales, make sure you're doing your research on the company to see if it's a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal, number one. And number two, not all direct sales businesses are pyramid schemes. So for people who are like, oh, Mary Kay and Avon and Senegence and LuLaRoe, no, they're not pyramid schemes. I hate to break it to you. Pyramid schemes are where you spend money and you don't get any product and you have nothing to sell or move, right? Or that's one of the definitions of a pyramid scheme. So those are illegal. Those usually get shut down pretty quick. So don't get involved with a pyramid scheme. Do your research on the company, you guys. See how long the company has been around. You want to find that sweet spot where a company's been around long enough that you know they're not going to get shut down. Most direct sales businesses don't make it past 25 years. That is a huge accomplishment if a business makes it past 25 years. So don't get involved with don't put all your eggs into this basket if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting involved in this business and I'm going to, do all this stuff if it's 7 days old. I would just kind of keep your job and work it and see what happens and just kind of be with it for a few years and see how it goes. But it's good to find a sweet spot for a company that's been around long enough that's not super saturated, right? So Senegence, for example, has been around for 19 years, which is a great long history, and there's less than 200,000 distributors, right? That's a sweet spot to me. If there's other companies like that, that's a sweet spot. I'm not super familiar with other companies because I only work for one company, so do that. Also, you want to look at your compensation plan. If you are making 10 to 20% profit, max 30%, do you really want to work super hard to sell that product and maybe only make 30% profit? Do you really want to put in all that work to make that little amount of money? That's my question. I would rather sell less and make more money than sell way more to make an equal amount. You know what I mean? So you want to look at the compensation plan. You want to compare it against others. So for example, Senegence, you make 20 to 50% on every sale, depending on what volume you buy it at. It's a wholesale account. And then on your downlines, you make another, 2 to 30%. So you want to see what you get paid on your downlines. Also, you want to see if there's breakaways. What a breakaway is if a company starts, Miriam, for example, has this. With Miriam, if someone hits a certain rank within the company that's underneath you, they break away. You don't get paid on this person anymore, right? So you have them in your downline, they break away. You're no longer getting paid on that person. So every person that ranks up has their own kind of crew, right? Companies that do that, That's not good, because you want people to rank up if that's their goal. You want people to increase and do well in the company. But if they're breaking away and taking all that money for you, that's probably going to be a big chunk of your income, and then you're going to feel like you have to start from scratch, right? But it's good to always be working your business, but you really don't want those breakaways. So for example, Synergence doesn't have breakaways. You hit a certain rank in the company and you come over here and you have your own, they call it dominion. You have your own dominion, but this person still gets paid on every breakaway that they have, if that makes sense. So it's not a real breakaway where it's like a clean breakaway, but they have someone who breaks off, but they're still getting paid on it. So you want to make sure that that's going on as well. If you get involved in a company and you are buying tons and tons and tons and tons of product, and you don't want to put in any effort to sell that product, that is your fault. Doesn't make it a pyramid scheme, doesn't make it a scheme. That's your own fault. You're responsible for spending your own money. You're responsible for selling your own product. That is all on you. I have about $10,000 worth of stock right now because I do vendor events. I do demos. I have women come over. I sell a lot of products, so I am constantly replacing it. I want to have everything on hand, right? I have downlines in my team that may want to do a launch party or may need something, and I can send it to them if it's needed. I like to have that stock on hand. If something were to happen where I wasn't working for Synergence, that $10,000, that's on me. I'm the one that ordered that, knowing that there could be a risk that something could happen, and maybe to the company or something along those lines. That's on me, and I'm not going to be bitter and go make a YouTube channel and troll other people that are doing direct sales because I'm bitter that I spent my own money and I have a bunch of stock, right? Not the company's fault. That's on us. So be aware of how much you're spending. Be aware of how much work you're putting in. Also, another thing, direct sales, money doesn't just like grow on trees and come to you. Direct sales to me is harder than a 9-to-5, and the reason is because 9-to-5, you go in, someone bosses you around, you have set schedule, you have set hours, you have your lunch break, you have your breaks, right? You have all this stuff. You have someone that tells you what to do. Direct sales, if you don't have a good upline, you're kind of figuring it out on your own. And if you look at a lot of the reasons that businesses fail, one of the reasons is the business founder or business partner withdraws from the business, right? If that's the same as your upline. If your upline pulls out, or your upline's not a good upline, or misleading, or lying to you, or not a healthy person, or a toxic individual, that can really trickle down into your business and truly affect your business as well. So just make sure that you're interviewing your upline. You don't just go into some random black building and take any job that they give you. You want to go in and know who you're getting involved with, know who you're getting in business with, know how they're going to help support you, know if they're doing it as a hobby or a career, what resources they have to offer you. You're going to interview them just like you would anyone else for a job, right? So make sure that you're taking the time to interview them, research the company, make sure that you know what you're getting into before you start direct sales. I have done businesses outside of direct sales, and I've done this direct sales business, and I prefer direct sales because you have the product that's made for you, right? And you want to make sure that the product is like a legitimately good product, right? You want to test the product. You want to know that it works. You want to know that you love it. You have to be passionate about the product. If you want to sell health products and you're not a healthy individual and you don't really care about your health, I mean, I care about my health, but I'm not going to sit here and take supplements and, all these things and do all this stuff. Like, I'm not going to sell health products to anyone. But I was like a stay-at-home mom, right? And I didn't wear makeup. And then I tried LipSense and I was like, oh my gosh, like I could sell this to everyone because everyone would love it, right? That's why I got involved with LipSense. I was like, this is a great business plan, great business opportunity, amazing product. This is it for me. And then I interviewed a lot of uplines between my friends and my strangers, and I found one that fit for me, and I signed with her. Retired my husband 4 months later, got a trip, got a car. I don't know any 9-to-5 that does that. So really just make sure you know what you're getting involved with when you think about getting into direct sales. Because again, it can be a really big blessing for you, or it can be not a super great blessing, and you can walk away feeling bitter and like you wasted your time and grumpy and making YouTube accounts just to go troll other people who are really enjoying it and doing well. And another thing is ask people how much they're making. Because that's important too. You want to know how much that person's making, because you don't ever want to take advice from someone that you wouldn't trade places with. So if you're interviewing an upline for your business, ask them, how much are you making? How much are you making on commissions? How much are you making on sales? How much time do you invest in doing that? How much time do I need to invest in making X amount each month? If I want to make this, what do I need to do to get there? Ask those questions. People that come to me and they're like, oh, direct sales doesn't work. You're really not making any money. Like, we built an addition onto our house that was almost $40,000 and we're able to pay cash for it because we couldn't get a loan because we're self-employed. That's from our direct sales business. We live off my income. All of our bills are paid off of my income. So direct sales can work for you. It's just making sure that you're doing it right. You have realistic expectations. You know what it takes to, be at a certain place within the company, and talking to people, because it can be, again, the biggest blessing that you will ever find if you know what you're getting into and if your expectations are set before you get started. So feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. foreverflawlesslips@gmail.com. I am always so happy to answer them. And I hope that you guys have an amazing day.